Hi everybody, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So yes, I know this video is late to say the least. It's currently Monday, but how was everybody's weekend? Mine was okay, very busy. I had tried filming for you guys on Friday and Saturday, but my neighbors decided that that just was not gonna happen. I literally called the cops on them, I think it was Saturday, because I was really mad that like I hadn't been able to get the video done in 2 days. So yeah, that is pretty much that. And then I couldn't film it yesterday because I had to go with my boyfriend's family up to Meadville. But right now we are all good. We're getting things done. I don't know why, but I feel like I want to start filming from this side because I just feel like my side profile on this side is way better than on this side. Let me know what you guys think. Anyways, as always, today's story time was sent in by an anonymous user, and for majority of the video I will be looking in this direction because my mirror is right here and I would like to see what I'm doing. Also, I tell these stories in a oh my god, I thought my nail was missing. Also, I tell these story times in a first person point of view. If you don't like that, then hit the road. But other than that, let's get into today's story time. I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. It's so dark and gloomy outside. I low-key love it. Okay, story time about how my best friend's parents walked in on me sleeping with my best friend's brothers. Yes, I said brothers. I love how I literally look like a tomato after I put on my moisturizer. Okay, so a little background information. When I was a freshman in high school, I had met this girl named Hannah. Hannah and I both went to the same school, and her and I pretty much had all the same classes, so we started hanging out a lot after school. But every time that we would hang out, we would go over to my house instead of hers. I never really thought anything of it though. I just kind of thought maybe she was embarrassed of her family, or maybe she was embarrassed of me, or just maybe she had some deep, dark family secret. Well, anyways, fast forward, her and I become best friends. Well, fast forward to my sophomore year. It was the first day of school and we couldn't go over my house because my parents were currently selling our house and they were showing the house to people. So we had plans to hang out that day, but I had told her we can't go over my house. I was like, well, why can't we just go to your house? And she was really weird about it. And she was like, well, my family doesn't really like you. And then I was like, but your family doesn't even really know me. I've never met your family, what the fuck? So then after that, I just went home and we didn't hang out, and I was kind of mad at her. So I didn't talk to her for a few days after that. Well, the one night while I'm getting ready for bed, she calls me. And this was probably after like 2 days of us not talking. And she was like, I'm sorry I said all those things, like my family doesn't hate you. The real reason why I don't want you coming over is because all of my friends before, when I would invite them over my house, would try to get with my older brothers. So after that, I was like, okay, low-key understandable, but at the same time, don't really put that on me. Anyway, so the next day, she invited me over her house, and we went to her house after school. And at first we were just hanging out watching a movie when her mom came in and she was like yelling at Hannah saying that they don't have a pool for no reason and stuff like that, and that she needs to go outside and actually use it. So we put our bathing suits on and we go outside to the pool. So we're in the pool and I look over and I see one of her brothers playing basketball, and he was extremely hot. Well, later on that night, we were sitting down at the dinner table and I was able to get a way better look at her brother. Well, it turns out I already knew exactly who this kid was. Back when I was a freshman, he had added me on Snapchat, and I want to say this was a little bit before Hannah and I became friends. Anyways, him and I, we had been talking for about 3 months until he got a girlfriend. But during the time that him and I were talking, we exchanged pictures with each other, and yes, those kind of pictures. And eventually, I think about like 2 months after us talking and doing that, he would wait for me after school and we would go into his car and do things. Yes, Probably the kind that you're thinking. Anyways, like I said, he had gotten a girlfriend and they were together for about 6 months. But throughout those 6 months, he had been cheating on her with me. But eventually she found out and she had made him block me on everything, which is completely understandable. Back to where we are now, this is my first time seeing him in quite a few months. Well, when I left her house that night, I saw that he had added me on Snapchat again. They always come back. And as soon as I added him back, I got this Snapchat that said that him and his girlfriend broke up last month and he forgot to add me on Snapchat. And he's sorry for blocking me. It was just a hard situation. Which again, understandable. Also, we're gonna call her brother Matt. So every time that we would have a sleepover at her house, I would go and I would secretly hook up with Matt. Because her parents made me sleep in the guest bedroom, they just weren't comfortable with 2 girls staying in 1 bedroom. Like, even whenever she would come over my house, they would make sure to tell my mom that Hannah needs to sleep on the couch. My mom would say, okay, of course Hannah wasn't sleeping on the couch, she would just sleep in my room with me. But yeah, you can clearly tell what type of people they are after hearing that. So like I said, I would sleep in the guest bedroom and I would just kind of sneak over to his room during the middle of the night. The worst part is that his bedroom was on the 3rd floor, so I would have to go all the way up to the attic. And the stairs were so creaky that like I could have swore I almost got caught like 100 times. Like, I'm surprised nobody woke up. Well, the one day after school, Hannah came over my house and she almost found out about what I was doing because of my mother. So my mom and I have a really open relationship, you know, we talk about everything. I'm not scared to tell her that I'm a hoe or any of the nasty things that I do. And as long as I'm open and honest with her, she doesn't care either. Anyways, we had just walked into the house and we were standing in the kitchen talking to my mom. Whenever my mom asks me, hey, are you still hooking up with that boy? Like, really, Mom? Really? You, out of all people? Wow. And Hannah was like, OMG, who? And I low-key wanted to tell Hannah to mind her own business, but I know if I said that, I would have kind of outed myself. Just because of the fact that Hannah and I didn't really keep secrets. Or she didn't think that we kept secrets. So I kind of just give my mom that look. Just in case you don't know what that look is, it's like, that wasn't like a good example, but that was the look that I gave her. And Hannah was still like egging me on to tell her who it was. But after I gave my mom the look, she was like, oh, I must have been thinking about your sister. I was just on the phone with her and we were talking about some boy that she has a crush on, blah, blah, blah. And Hannah was like, I never even knew that you had a sister. That's because I didn't. My mom made that up. But I just told her that my sister was in college and that she really never came around because she didn't like my family. And then she was like, oh, what college does your sister go to? And I had blurted out the only college that I could even think of. I was like, oh, she goes to UCLA. And of course she goes, OMG, my older brother goes there too. I wonder if they know each other. And I was like, no, probably not. Like, she's a band geek and stuff like that. I didn't even know if they had that in college at the time. And she just kind of looks at me. But after that, she let the subject go, thank God. Anyways, but then my mom says, hey, did you take your birth control today? And Hannah just looks at me. Little did she know her brother was the whole reason why I was even on it. Anyways, I just told her that it was because of my acne, even though I didn't even have acne at the time. TMI. Anyway, so fast forward, I think it's like a few days before Christmas break. Hannah secretly asked my mom if I could go on vacation with her and her family over break. Now, even though this probably makes me sound like a bad person, I still didn't feel bad. She texted me the Friday that our Christmas break started and she was like, pack your stuff, my brother's gonna come get you at 9 p.m. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, just go talk to your mom. Whew, had to do my eyeliner off camera, but we're back and better now. So I went downstairs and I asked my mom what Hannah was talking about. And she was like, well, a little bit ago, Hannah asked me if you could go to Florida with her and her family for Christmas break. How thoughtful. I mean, how can you not feel bad for doing that to her after she tried to surprise you with a vacation for Christmas? But then again, that's just me. Back to the story. And as I went to go upstairs to go and pack my stuff, my mom stopped me and she was like, you know, Hannah's a really sweet girl and I don't really like what you're doing behind her back. So I thought about it for a minute and then I turned around and I told my mom to mind her own goddamn business. Period. Like, sis, don't forget when you were hyping me up when I was telling you that I was screwing her brother. Don't act like that wasn't you. So fast forward, I'm packing my stuff and I get a text from a random number saying that they are outside. And at first I was like, what the hell, because Matt had already had me on Snapchat and had my phone number, and Hannah said that her brother was coming to get me. So I was a little bit confused and it just felt very sus. But the text said, I'm here, come outside. So I finished packing up my stuff and I walk outside and I'm expecting to see a blue car because her brother's car is blue. And this car was black. So I get in the car and I realize that it is her older brother who was in college. We're gonna call him Jake. And Hannah's house was probably like 25 minutes away from mine. And by the way, he was way better looking than Matt. Like, forget Matt. We don't want him anymore. We want Jake. But we're sitting in the car and we start talking and he brings up how Matt had told him that we've been secretly hooking up. How lovely, right? Like, that is so awkward. I could not imagine being in that situation. No. And he was like giving me advice on how I shouldn't tell Hannah because she'll freak out, when low-key I already knew not to do that. Like, duh. What do you think I am? Dumb? Probably, but no. So when we got to their house, we took an Uber to the airport and Hannah was deathly afraid of flying. So she had sat with her mom and dad and I sat with her two brothers. Matt ended up taking half a Xanny before we went, so he was pretty much asleep the whole time. And I had been sitting in the middle and Jake and I just watched movies the whole time. And we started getting a little touchy, but nothing major because like I said, we're Team Jake now and we don't want Matt anymore. Throw the whole man away, period. Now, I just want to say something real quick. This would be the point where I would start to get worried because, you know, things can only go your way so far before karma just bites you in the ass. Anyway, so we get off the plane and we go to this nice ass beach house. Now let me explain the layout of the house. So here is Hannah's room, and then here's a bathroom, and then here's her brother's room. I was staying in the guest bedroom that was right across from her room because, like I said, her parents were complete weirdos. Well, as soon as we got there, we all went to sleep because we had gotten there really late. And the next morning, Hannah was feeling really sick. She was throwing up. So her parents put her in my room because they didn't want her sharing the bathroom with her brothers and getting them sick also. So they washed all the sheets in the room and then they had put me into her room, which, may I say, we love that for me because now I was right across from her brother's room. Well, the whole time I pretty much just hung out with her brothers because, like I said, her parents didn't want her getting anybody sick. And Hannah had family that had just moved down to Florida, so her parents were over at their house pretty much helping them unpack and just hanging out with them. Well, the third night that we were there, Hannah's brothers and I, we pretty much went to this bar slash restaurant, and Jake was getting Matt and I drinks the whole time. And then we had went to this club that was like 2 doors down. And I made it pretty obvious that I liked them both because I don't remember much that happened at the club, but I do remember I made out with both of them. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I'm not even gonna lie. I did. And what are you gonna do? Nothing. Well, then Hannah's parents came and picked us all up, and I was trying super hard not to throw up because they had this really nice rental car that they got, and I did not want to piss her parents off. So it was around 12 a.m. whenever we got back to the house. I went straight to the bathroom, threw up a few times, and felt way better. Well, Hannah's parents made a fire on the deck So Alex, Matt, and I were all sitting outside with his parents, and at around 1 a.m. they all went inside. Well, we all started to play truth or dare, and one thing led to another, and eventually I agreed to have a you-know-what with both of them. So we all went upstairs, and at about 3 a.m. everybody was asleep, so I had snuck over to the boys' room and we started doing the deed. Well, probably about 10 minutes later, their parents woke up, and I heard footsteps going up the stairs, so I ran to the bathroom, and her mom came into my room and asked if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, I think I may have what Hannah has, I'm not sure. So she got some medicine, put it on my nightstand, and went back downstairs and went back to sleep. Or I thought she had went back to sleep. So since my room was connected with the boys, we had a deck that was outside on the back of the house facing towards the beach, and it was right above the lower deck. We had thought that was the best place because Hannah's room was on the second floor and hers was towards the front of the house, and her parents' room was on the first floor and it was also towards the front of the house. So I Snapchat Matt and I'm like, hey, let's just go on the deck. So we went onto the deck, continued what we were doing, and a few minutes later I thought I had saw somebody walk back into the house. Well, I just brushed it off because I thought I was just being super paranoid. Well, a few seconds later, we heard the sliding door open behind us. So we all turn around and all you hear is everybody gasping for air, like you would have thought they died. So that night, Hannah's parents called my parents and they wanted to send me home on the next available flight. But my mom and her parents got into an argument because my mom didn't want me flying alone. Well, then Hannah's mom, she kind of threw a little bit of shade at me. Understandable, again. She was like, if your daughter can do what I caught her doing, then she can take a flight home by herself. Okay, sis. I see you out here. Well, then Jake offered to fly home with me. Whenever we got off the plane, we got an Uber. He took the Uber with me back to my house, back to the airport, and then took the next available flight back down to Florida. When I got home, my mom didn't ground me because sis already knew that I was a hoe. I mean, she did say that she told me not to do that, so she was kind of right. But at the same time, como se dice, I don't give a fuck. But as for Hannah and I, she called me the next day and she was like, OMG, that was so funny. I can't believe we all walked out on you guys. I apologized even though I wasn't really sorry, but she actually surprised me. She was like, it's fine. Like if I was in your position and you had 2 older hot ass brothers, I'd probably do the same thing. So yes, I still hang out with her. We're still best friends to this day. We all just laugh about it now, except for her mom. Her mom hates me. She does. She despises me. But Matt is back with his ex-girlfriend and he's still cheating on her with me. Again, I don't feel bad. I'm just gonna jump in here real quick. You know, I don't judge anybody who sends their story time into me, but all I'm saying is karma is a bitch. Anyways, back to the story. Jake went back to college. Him and I still talk whenever he comes home. We still hook up. But yeah, other than that, the outcome of the situation was not that bad. Okay, everybody, that is officially the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more of me, maybe hit that subscribe button. I know this video is really late, but like I said, in the middle of moving, Wi-Fi sucks, neighbors suck. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. So if you guys want to know when I post my next video though, click that bell. And I try to post on Mondays and Fridays. It usually doesn't work, so it's best if you do hit the bell, so that way whenever a video is late, you'll get notified whenever I do post. Also, if you guys would like to send in your anonymous story time, click the link down below, and remember to be following me on TikTok and subscribe to my YouTube, so that way you can see if I posted your story time on my social media. If you guys want to keep up with me on any of my social medias, they're all linked down below. If you guys would please go follow my Instagram, please, pretty please. It would mean the world to me because I'm going to try to post more on Instagram. But yeah, and if you guys have any other videos that you would like to see from me, drop a comment down below, and I love you guys.